One topic that always seems to stump people is to convert units and how to do that. So I wanted to talk a little bit about that because it's a skill you're going to need in this class. And so I wanted to use an example that might be super familiar to you. So let's say that you have 24 eggs and someone says, well, how many dozens do you have? We just intuitively know, oh, that's 2 dozen because there's 12 dozen or 12 eggs in a dozen. So 12 times 2 is 24. And so we do that conversion pretty easily. Or you can do it with donuts, I suppose, as well. But if I were to do this in kind of the methodical way, I would say, okay, I have 24 eggs. And then I would multiply that by whatever this factor is. And so I want to cancel out my eggs. So I'm going to put eggs in the bottom, in the denominator, and I'm going to put dozens in the top, because really what I'm saying is I want to convert eggs to dozens, and I'm going to get to cancel the eggs out. And then this, just this bar here represents an equal sign. So 1 dozen equals 12 eggs. So that's the factor that I'm multiplying it by. And so when I do that math, I get to cross off my eggs, and I do 24 divided by 12, and that equals 2, and my units left over is dozens. I'm going to put D-O-Z to make it easy for me. And so we've gotten the same answers we got in our head, but we did it in a little bit more of a methodical way. So let's apply this to something that you might do in the class. And I do give you the conversions sometimes, but just in case, let's say that you had 5 miles and you wanted to convert that into inches. Okay, so let's set this up. So we're going to say 5 miles. And I'm going to need to multiply that by something. Now, I don't know how many inches are in a mile. If I did, I would put miles at the bottom, inches at the top, and the miles would cancel out, just like I did with the dozens, and we'd be good. So I don't know that, but I do know how many feet are in a mile. So again, I need to put miles on the bottom, because that's what I'm going to cross off. So 1 mile is 5,280 feet, right? Okay. So that's good. Now I would convert to feet, but what I want is inches. So I have to do this one more time. And I'm going to put feet in the bottom because I want it to cross off feet. And I'm going to say 1 foot is, I know it's 12 inches. So 1 foot equals 12 inches. Okay. So now when I go through, I'm going to cross off my miles. I'm going to cross off my feet. And then I would just multiply 5 by 5,280 by 12, and that would give me my answer, whatever that number is, in inches. So hopefully that helps a little bit. I also wanted to talk about the concept of gradient. So in this class, in a couple different labs, we're going to talk about gradient, which really is just how steep a slope is. And so I'm going to let you read through that on your own, but I wanted to talk about the possible ways that you're going to be representing that. So you're going to find out that gradient equals rise over run, which means how the distance or the difference in elevation, so how vertically how much distance you've covered versus run, so horizontally how much distance you've covered. And sometimes it's going to ask for it in feet per mile. And so when you do that, you're going to measure your rise in feet. So it might be like 200 feet vertical distance, and your run might be 1 mile. So it would be 200 feet per mile, something like that. And that's pretty easy. You can do that. So if you get 200 feet as the vertical change, and let's say it just covered 1 mile of horizontal distance, that's an easy one. And your answer, of course, would be 200 feet per mile. But sometimes it's going to have you do this where it's going to cancel units, and it happens in various ways. So in this case, if you want to not have any units, you need to convert the bottom miles to feet so it cancels. And so if we were going to convert that, what we would do is, let's say we've got 200 feet over 1 mile. And we want the bottom number to become feet. So I'm going to keep this 200 feet. And how do I convert this to feet? Well, there are 5,280 feet in a mile. So I'm going to make this 5,280 feet instead. So it's the same thing. And now I can cancel my units. And I'm going to do that quick calculation. Hold on one second. All right, it is 0.038 is what that is. And you'll notice that there aren't any units anymore, right? The feet cancel with the feet. So it might seem weird because you're like, well, what does this mean? Well, you're going to be able to compare this gradient with other values to see which one has a higher number, so it's steeper, and which one has a lower angle or a lower number, which means it's more gentle. So it'll make sense when you get there. I just wanted to show you the difference here.